This video shows a demo that indicates the value of high-fidelity graphic 3D environments with custom interactive simulations. So hopefully you should have a link to either this page or a link to the actual tool. The link to both will be in the description below. So you can click on this link to download it. Brings you to that spot where you can actually download it. You can click download. It's a pretty big file because it's high-fidelity graphics. So you download it. I already downloaded it, so I'm going to cancel this. When you download it, it'll be a zip file like this. You have to extract it. You extract it by right-clicking, and then extract all. And it'll show a file like this. Depending on your security, it might say this is an untrusted file. If you trust that I don't have any harm towards you, then you can open it up, which I don't. So you can open up the file, and then this is the actual launcher. That's powered by Unreal Engine. The first time you run it, it might take a minute, and it might ask you to install some .NET libraries. So you open it up. I want to point out that visualizations, simulations, and just computer tools like this are not a new idea. It's just up until recently they've been quite expensive. With new technologies, these can be made relatively quickly, so they're a lot cheaper. For example, my team can make something on the scale of this demo for less than $10,000. If it opens full screen, full windowed, but you want to make it smaller, then you can press Alt-Enter. So one of the benefits to this software is you can have multiple people enter a 3D environment all together. So because of that, you have to differentiate each other. So you have to put your name in. And then you have to say whether you're a single user, if you want to host a session, or you want to join a session. If you press host, then you'll set up a little server on your computer automatically, and anyone else can join into it. But for me, we're just a single user. Also, you can change the graphics of the simulation. So if you have a really nice computer, you can go something like cinematic, and if your graphics card isn't as nice, you can go something like low. So then you press next and let it load. So this is a simulation of a civil engineering project that involves building a building that is used for both has like a main entrance lobby area, an office room, and a production floor. Because it's a 3D environment, you have to be able to move through it. There's 4 ways you can move, and you can change between the 4 up here. You can walk, you can fly, you can orbit around an area just like you would in a CAD software, and then you can move around in VR if you have a VR headset connected. And there's instructions right here that tells you how to do all those things. So this demo is going to show how interactive high-fidelity graphic 3D environments can help solve the following problems. Miscommunication, failure to account for assumptions, inadequate training, and misunderstanding equations. So I don't know how many times I've been in an engineering meeting, because I am an engineer by profession, and we're talking about some concept or some piece of equipment, and honestly, for the most part, no one really understands what's going on. And I show pictures, or other people show pictures or drawings, and people just don't get it. But if you could pull something like this up, and you can be like, this is the part I'm talking about, or this member is the part I'm talking about, and you can move all around it, go in and out of things, go through walls, I think it would help with communication quite a bit. And given how much money it costs to pay engineers to do things, if you can help an engineer or a project manager or someone or a stakeholder understand something just that much faster, then I think it's totally worth it to get a software like this. To aid in communication, you have a set of tools. If you hold down your space button, your tools will appear. So we're going to go through some of these tools. So first off, you have transform. So let's say you're in a meeting and you're talking about how you want some art installation here. So here's the art installation. Let's say you want to see what it looks like if it's moved. So you can just click and move it. Now let's say you want to remember that you want to move it. We can come to annotate. You can put like an arrow. And then you could even put some text on. I pressed one of the buttons to enter orbit mode on accident. Then yeah, the idea is you have enough tools that you can communicate and collaborate and hopefully come up with a much better solution. You can kind of see my shadow right here. This is what you are, what you look like. This is when you're all together. Depending on the travel mode you're in, you'll have a different avatar. You can't look at yourself though, but if you're on with multiple people, you'll still be able to see. You can take pictures, and it'll tell you where the pictures are. X-ray is kind of fun. You can just hide things. And in this particular demo, there's not you can't move everything. You actually have to program and say, my team has to program and say these are the objects that are movable. Cutaway is rather than making it disappear with a little outline, you actually cut away a piece. Measurement's a cool one. You can actually measure. And I can make any tool, or my team can make any tool that you want. And this is in meters, but we could change it to feet and inches. This way you can collaborate and work together and design things much faster. So that's how you can help with communication. But now let's talk about failure to account for all assumptions. Not only can you just like go look at stuff, we can program custom simulations. So we'll go over a simple assumption first, or a simple simulation. So here we have an explode simulation. This is a very complex assembly. Let's say you want to help explain things. You want to explode them in a pre-designed format. Well, you can do it, and you can put it back. So that's a simple one, and this is like the production floor. Excuse me. Well, but we can also do a more accurate or a more complex simulation. So let's say for this building, you have to do a means of egress evaluation. You do your evaluation, but it's kind of hard to explain to people what's going on. So you can I can write a program, or we can write a program, allows you to put people wherever you want. And then you can set a muster point. I have a preset muster point in this case, which is that little white slab. And then I press the start evacuation. And all those people that we spawn will start walking to the muster point. And in this demo, it's not a super accurate one, but depending on what you need, I can make it pretty accurate. I can't certify these, so it's more for illustrations and also for finding misassumptions. Like as you saw, having this stick out a little bit, they all hit right here, which slowed them down a little bit. Maybe that would be clear to some and not others. So it helps you find those little things. I think dimensional assumptions are hard, and sometimes you design something and you think it all fits together, but actually when you're working on it, it doesn't. You can make sure it all fits together in something like this. So yeah, tells you how many people got there, and once everyone's there, tells you how long. So you can do simulations like that. You can also do training simulations though. So here you have kind of a production scenario where you have some kind of chemical processing plant. Well, we can program it so each of these valves, levers, and buttons are all actionable, and they actually act like they would in the real situation. So you can have a crew come out and work on something and train on one of these software packages, and they can get trained before the actual equipment's even produced, because it takes a lot of time and money to actually produce equipment and get something set up. So that's how. So we've covered how it helps with communication. We've covered on how it helps with simulations, and missing assumptions, and we covered training. The last one is equations. Now, engineers are really good at equations, but if you're unfamiliar with certain equations, it's sometimes hard to emotionally understand an equation. So this is a graphic calculator. It doesn't like graph lines, but in this case, you give it the heat release rate of an object, and it'll show you how high the flame will be. So let's say this chair is going to catch on fire, and we say how much heat it's putting off, and it'll show us how much flame. So let's say, I think we got to get closer to it. So let's say it's going to put off 50,000 kilowatts of power. Press the calculate button, and that shows us how much fire it's actually going to put out. In reality, could one chair put out that much heat? I'm not sure. But it allows you to have some emotional connection between a number and what it actually means. I did a course, or participated in a course where they talked about the Challenger spacecraft explosion, and it sounds like they knew all the equations, they did all the equations, but they didn't really have an emotional understanding of what the equations meant. So having something like this could help with that, especially if you have a team with high turnover. So those are some of the benefits of a high-fidelity 3D graphic interactive environment. If you have any questions or interested, please let me know. I'll leave my contact information below. One other thing I'll show you is how to join with multiple people. So if you just press this and you press next, it'll do exactly the same thing, but it'll set up a server. But let's say you want to join someone that's already on. You press join a server, and then it looks for servers. I'm pretty confident I'm the only one open with this right now, so no one's going to pop up. But if anyone else is using it, a server will pop up, and you click it, and then it takes you to the environment. Depending on your kind of security, for the first time, you might have to input an IP address. So that's good to know. And then if you want to close, you just press the exit button. I hope you guys have a great day.